Part 3, how to leverage your social value. So now that we've concluded part 1 and part 2, and we have a deeper understanding about what our social values are and how to calculate them, now how do we use that? And this links into the benefits aspect of this. So leverage your social value, your organizations to attract funding, strengthen partnerships, and showcase your positive impact. And it doesn't necessarily have to be all three of those things at once, but generally, if you do it well and it's done in a strategic way, you can achieve all of those impacts. So how to leverage your social value? So first of all, choose one purpose. Choose one of the following as your priority audience. For tenders, funding, marketing, community trust, purpose-led growth, team and culture, learning and development. And team and culture and learning and development may be two in one. Match it to your measured impacts. So we look at task 2, where we created that short statement of one measured outcome, one stakeholder group, one real result. And then we build a 3-part story to that. So the challenge, what did you do and what changed? And in essence, that then becomes the key component of the message that you then share. So once you've created that, and we looked at from part 2, you're looking to share it. But when do you share it? When are those right moments in your organizations to share your social impacts? And this is about getting into the rhythm of the audience that you wish to share it with. When do they expect to see it? What do they use it for? So that you're not just sending it ad hoc, but actually it's part of your wider comm strategy or your plan to really communicate it at a time when they are willing to receive that or they need to receive it at that time. So when you share it, could be when something changes, a milestone achieved, person's life change, a new partnership formed or a program completed. So in a way, you might be celebrating success. When you're asking for something, for funding, support, collaboration, new customers or volunteers, and you want to really show actually why you're the right organization to work with. When you launch or grow something, new service, new location, new audience, new impact area, all of this is newsworthy information. And how do you ensure that your social value is the thing that's carrying that message and is allowing that message to hit home a lot more closer than just kind of objective, oh, this is what we're doing. When you want to build trust after feedback or evaluation at the end of projects, after community engagements or during difficult or uncertain times. And this leans into transparency. When you have something that you want to share or you want to keep people up to date on important news, that sharing your social value or your social impact in these times helps to bring reassurance, also helps to bring develop further trust with you and your audience. And on a regular rhythm, when impact updates are needed, and you decide when that is. It doesn't have to be every day. It could be, once a fortnight. It could be once a month. It could be once a quarter. Whatever it is. And sometimes, if you're really proud of some social impact, reuse them, but maybe put it in a slightly different context, just to remind people that this is what you do. So you may use one in kind of like a reporting generic kind of way, but you may also, whether there's a calendar event that aligns with that, maybe National Apprenticeship Week, and you work with apprentices, then you might want to restate that during that period of time just to help gain further traction, but also just to reinforce that that's where you add value. And so people will be proactively, potentially partners, stakeholders, clients, whomever may be looking for those organizations who deliver really good social impact around this theme, and there you are. So do use it as a way to remind people the social impact that you are generating through the work that you do. Where do you share it? So, as much as understanding when you share it and what it is, where do you share it to? What are those platforms? So, first of all, it's useful to know where those individuals are, those stakeholders are, or your audience is, so that you know where to communicate with. So, marketing and visibility, I would say your website, in your about or impact page, social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, email, newsletters, or leaflet, brochures, presentations. Just get into the habit of anytime you have a touch point with a stakeholder, that you start communicating and talking about your social value. Because yes, there are going to be people in those rooms that's going to want to hear about the economic value, but they also want to hear about the social value. So add it to your agendas if you have meetings. Really just start to get into the habit of integrating it into your everyday business operation. We spoke about this earlier. Another way of where you use it or where you share it is ultimately through funding contracts and partnerships. So grant applications, tender responses, pitch decks. It should be embedded into your pitch deck. So really be quite clear and have clarity of what your social value message is. Investor conversation, just generally off the cuff conversations that you have, or CSR partnership proposals as well. So if you're looking to go into partnership with another organization, be it big or small, that you really demonstrate to them what you're bringing to the table from a social value perspective. Um, Another way of where to share it is community and stakeholder engagement. So community events, workshops and talks, local press, community notice boards or partner websites, thank you messages, communication, so like end of year um, reviews that you may do, or wrap ups as they do. That's all really useful. You can use it in those opportunities as well. On internal and team culture, and we talked about this retention of your talent and your employees. They need to know that the work that they're doing is, you know, doing some good. It's much more than the face value of just generating revenue. Who does it impact? How does it impact them? So it's useful to also communicate that internally as well as externally, because they may have some really great ideas of what else that you may be communicating, that they may be doing in their everyday job, and you're just not aware of it. And so actually that you could be missing out a trick. So get in the habit of communicating about social value in your organization, but also encouraging your staff to understand what it is, so that when they see it and when they're demonstrating it, they can also record it, and that then contributes to your wider annual tally of the social impact that you're making in the wider sense. So where do you find your audience? So this is really useful once you've got to the stage that you've, created your social value statement, you've got all of this information, you've got great impact results. Where do you find the audience to share it to? So social media. And so look at who is talking about social value or social impact, and how you can contribute to that conversation. And again, it doesn't have to be transactional. You're just sharing information with that in that group or in that setting. And you just join the conversation in a really organic way, and then just allow that to evolve. But even though the approach is strategic, um, do be mindful of selling and being too over transactional about it. It's just a conversation that you're having. We spoke about this earlier in terms of other ways to other locations to share this and find your audience. Annual reports, and again, a great way is to engage, comment, and subscribe. So subscribe to any newsletter or information that they may have. Comment on their posts and engage on their posts as well. And if you've read a report, and this is where I think it's really useful as a small business to have that gumption. So if you've read a report and you think something resonates with you as an organization and you think that you can help that organization deliver their social impact better than they have in previous years, approach them, just say, and align them and show them the work that you've done, and have a conversation, set up a meeting to have a conversation with them. There's nothing wrong with that. The least that they can say is no. But yeah, have that gumption. But be curious, read reports, especially of the organizations that align with your values. It shouldn't be any and all organizations. So if you've done the groundwork at the beginning, any of those identified organizations that you want to work with or individuals that you want to work with, really start to study them and understand what makes them tick and see if there's what you do can help to build their social value as well and add value to the work that they're doing. Um, they're looking to work with organizations, and the chances are they probably won't find you, so you have to go out and seek them. And then ultimately via existing service users. Sometimes we get into the habit of this acquisition of new and not look into what's right under our nose. So really look at the clients that you've been serving, you've been working with, and have organic conversations. Is there anything more that you can do to help them deliver even better social impact that can add value to them? And whether that's with their stakeholders or their funders or whomever it is, their partners, is there anything that you can do? And the only way you'll find that out is if you have conversations with them. So definitely look externally, but also look at what's directly under your nose and see if you can add any further value to those relationships that you've already built, that you've got trust in, and that you're already thriving with. So how do you approach them? There may be other ways, but here are some suggested ways that I think have been useful. So you start with shared values, um, lead with mutual benefit. That's really important. That everyone wins or everyone's seen to win, and that means that people are able to see that there's value that they can get out of it as well. Start small. You don't have to start big. Do start small, litmus test it, pilot the conversations that you're having until you're really comfortable. But also, the reason why say start small is so that you can manage it as well. You don't want to be overwhelmed. You don't want to go back to the beginning where social value then becomes a chore because you're just inundated on delivering this thing. Actually, or you'll work with a number of organizations that demand in this certain levels of social value from you, whether that's jobs creation, whether that's apprenticeships, mentoring, whatever it is. So really start at a pace that's right for you and then incrementally increase that as well. Be really clear and specific. Don't beat around the bush. Just say this is what you deliver, this is what you're looking for. And so they'll appreciate your directness and your transparency. And if you're for them and they're for you, then that's great. If it's not, they will be the right organization out there for you to work with. Use your social value as the hook, and we talk about this earlier as well in numerous slides. That that's such a huge asset, and it's probably something that they're missing out on. And if you can really form a really great relationship with that organization, um, through your social value, you're adding value by wanting to collaborate with them. And this may be um, like teaching you to suck eggs, but follow up and build relationships. It's always in the follow up. It's always in that continuity. It's always in those check-ins. It's those emails that you may send and whatever it is containing. But it's all of those little touches that demonstrates consistency, but also demonstrates that you are mindful that you want to build a relationship. And so that all leans itself into building further trust with that organization. So who to approach? And it's important to find the right person in the organization who champions social value. And I've seen this so many times where a report is a report. So an organization social impact stats go put into a report, annual report, and then it gets shouted out. And that's great. The organization as a whole gets applauded and they've done great work. But behind that, there's a person in that organization that's really championing the work of social impact and the work that you do because it matters to them. And that's the person you need to find. You need to get someone not only understands the importance of it, but sees it as a vital tool for their organization. And so your role within that is to communicate, find that person, but also to communicate why you are a safe pair of hands to work with and collaborate with. So within the organization, I would say the people you should be looking to approach are your social value, maybe social value lead, manager, sometimes even the office manager, depending on the size of the organization, responsible business manager. So yeah, so any of those kind of key roles might be good roles to look for. And again, just reiterating that to someone in that organization is much more than numbers and words on a page. So really be mindful when you talk about social value, it isn't just a tick box for some organizations so that they can be seen to be doing good. No, it really matters to people in that organization. We talked about find the person in the organization who cares. Offer volunteering opportunities for them, which aligns with both your values every year as part of a give back initiative they want to do, a team bonding exercise or something like that. So so every organization will have some form of volunteering days that, I say most organizations, let me not say every organization, but most organizations will have a volunteering day or days that they allow their staff members to take. And so they want to do meaningful work. Could you create a volunteering opportunity that brings together certain local business employees from local businesses? I've seen where sometimes these can be paid work experience. So basically, not work experience, volunteering opportunities. So an organization may want to do a team building, and part of that might be volunteering at a local organization, and you can charge that. Alternatively, you can offer that for complimentary because you see it as part of a wider strategic objective of building relationships with that business community. But think outside the box as founders, as businesses. I know you're innovative, so you'll come up with these kind of ideas as well. How to leverage your social value, frequently asked questions. How can we use our social value to attract new businesses? Demonstrating measurable social impact can differentiate your company. Many clients and public sector contracts now require evidence of social value. By quantifying your contribution, you show tangible benefits beyond financial performance, which can strengthen, propose, or improve your competitive advantage. Yeah, I think that's pretty self-explanatory and pretty much reiterates what we've talked about earlier on in the previous slides. How can social value improve stakeholder relationships? Sharing social value outcomes with employees, partners, and community builds trust and credibility. And we talk about trust, but trust really is at the heart of this. It underpins all the other things you're able to do and how you're able to engage with that community or just people in general. It highlights your commitment to positive social impact, which can increase staff engagement, strengthen partnerships, and enhance your reputation among local communities. How can social value support internal decision making? Quantifying social value helps organizations prioritize projects and investments that deliver the greatest impact. It also provides clear data to guide strategy, allocate resources effectively, and measure the return on social impact alongside financial models. So it has a number of benefits once you've leveraged it correctly. So that concludes that section of leveraging your social value. Up next, we'll work on your social value statement and how you can create one. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next slide.